here. We are live here on our Sunday radio broadcast, and we have got a great guest today, and I had to call in some help on this one. This is going to be quite the little day today. We have got with us today Kansas City native Shannon Knapp. She is the founder and president of Invicta, and was involved in the brand new MMA feature film Bruised, which is directed and starring Academy Award winner Halle Berry. And the fantastic Shannon Knapp joins us today, and also my co-host, the fantastic voice of violence, Big Will. How are you, sir? Before we get to Shannon, how are you, Big Will?
I'm good, brother. I'm pretty good.
So, Shannon, tell me and Big Will here a little bit about this film and how Invicta got involved with Bruised, which is currently on Netflix.
Well, first of all, have you got to see it yet?
I watched it last evening. It is fantastic.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's
I watched it like last week.
Okay.
I cried 3 times. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, what the hell? This movie got me crying and shit. What the fuck is happening?
It does happen. That is one of the things, though, that I noticed, Will, is that a lot of people connect with this movie. We did a viewing party, and we had several of the former Invicta athletes and the current. Not a dry eye. So, and as we talked through it, there were pieces of it that each and everybody had a connection to. An example, like Rachel Ostovich was on, and she was a victim of domestic violence, so that really hit home to her. So there were different areas of the film that really impacted people, in terms of the emotional connect. So, but I thought it was a great movie too. I'm most proud of probably the fight scenes, because I think that when someone comes into the sport, no matter who it is, and they're going to highlight that or show what a fight's supposed to look like, they don't always get it. And I felt like she really did nail it. I thought she did a really good job. She was all in, so it was exciting to be part of that aspect.
Yeah, it's definitely hard first when you try to translate like a real MMA or combat sports into like a movie. It's really hard to nail it and make it look believable and real. And like watching Bruce, not only just like watching the fight scenes, the whole movie was great, but watching the fight scenes, we were like, damn, me and my brother, we were talking. My brother's like, man, Shevchenko don't ever be in positions like that, but it looked so damn real and so good. And so, yeah, it was definitely, it was awesome to watch.
I thought so too. And, the good thing is Halle was all in, that was her. She broke a couple ribs and
definitely.
Yeah. So she put that in, and that's, that just shows passion and respect for the sport, which I really like.
So, with Invicta, how did you guys get linked up with Halle to be able to make this movie? Because that, I think, is quite the interesting story.
It is a little bit interesting. They reached out, and her assistant, and they wanted to see one of the events live, but the schedules weren't, lining up. Well, finally, kind of at the last minute, I was able to convince them that if you're going to tell a story, you've got to tell the whole story. You can't jump in at the middle and you can't jump in at the end. You've got to go where it all begins.
Yep.
And, and that I was going to give her access to something nobody else was. I was going to throw the doors open. I'm going to show you everything from top to bottom. And I think that's really what sold her, because, she had a big engagement the next night, which was Tyler Perry's, his studios, the grand opening of the studios down in Atlanta. So she popped in, I got to work with her and her team. I took her through every aspect of it. I mean, from wrapping hands to the walkout, to being on the stage, walking down into the cage, just really gave her that really, behind the scenes look, of how it all really is. And I think that's the part, that really, she really had enjoyed it. And then I started doing some consulting. And then, there was that opening, of course, where it's like, wait a minute. I have everything you need. I mean, just call it Invicta, that kind of thing. And then, so that's how that all kind of come together. it was definitely already cast, and you know, the actors, everything was already done by the time it came along. They had a different name. So, you know, by the grace, you know, was just able to, everything just aligned and worked out well for both of us.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. So, so Big Will, you have been nicknamed the voice of violence because you've been calling pretty much every local MMA boxing event here in Kansas the last couple of years. What kind of questions do you have here for Shannon? Because you've been going all over the place.
Man, first I just want to say that how dope it is that you started an all women's promotion. That in itself is just like, it's badass. Like, you know, we know Ronda Rousey and, you know, Cyborg and, you know, a lot of them ladies, got women's MMA popping off. But for you to create just an all women's platform for ladies to be able to showcase their skills and talent and shit, and, you know, be, you know, the stars of the company. I just want to commend you for that, you know, because that's hella dope, you know, just for, and it's something different. And, you know, and I love women's MMA shit. Like, my aunt, I got my uncle hooked on MMA, and, like, my aunt's always like, is there women fighting? You know, so it's, you know, you love to see the women bang, because, I mean, there's so much passion, and they leave it all out there in the ring, boy. They shit, cat fight, they in here scrapping, bro. So, kudos.
Very true. Thank you so much. That's very kind. Very kind. But I'm very passionate about it as well. You know, I kind of told you, I came through the male side of the sport, so I spent many, many years, you know, working with the male athletes, matching. You know, I've kind of held many, many jobs in the industry. But when the women came to me and needed somebody, I felt like I was the perfect person, because I was kind of a naysayer in the beginning, just because what we were seeing in the sport were a lot of mismatched fights, you know, women competing several weight classes up. Nobody really tended to it. Nobody really cared about it, to be honest with you. So I like a good fight. So I thought, you know, this is something I can sink my teeth in. They convinced me to change my mind. So I thought they gave me the tools to change everybody else's mind. You know, and I haven't been disappointed at all. They really do fight their hearts out. They are very connected to what they are doing. They're natural born marketers. So, you know, that's another part of the puzzle that makes it, you know, incredibly easier for me as a promoter. But the real gratification that I got to tell you, Will, is when you help them achieve the dream. You know, and you see that sparkle in the eyes, and they're just pumped up, ready to go. So yeah, it's made it really all well worth the investment for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely awesome when, you know, you watch these young fighters come up through, you know, like our systems and stuff like that, and our promotions, and then, you know, they get that big break to go on to like Bellator or UFC or something bigger, you know, than just us. So, you know, it's dope that you're doing it, you know, for the ladies, and, you know, we're doing it for the young, you know, the young gunners here in Kansas and stuff. So it's really awesome. So
Thank you.
I love this sport, and so it's passion, man. We got a passion and a love for the sport. So
I want to sink my teeth into boxing to help the women in boxing. That's really the next avenue I really want to go down, is, you know, want to try to help make a difference there in that aspect. They need the help.
Yeah.
They need someone to believe in them and, you know, help lift them up and get in there and do something.
Yeah, they need to hit some wheels to Clarissa Shields or something. Like, oh no, now she done got the MMA, because I mean, yeah, women's boxing definitely needs a shot of something, an injection of life or something, because that's definitely one thing that's really dying off. But I mean, MMA, kickboxing, you know, now women's bare knuckle, that's, you know, coming out. So I'm loving to see all that, you know, but
it's definitely changing the game for the women. So, yeah. But, you know, if it wasn't for their performance as well, you know, nobody would be watching. So I think we really got to put it back on them. It's their performances and just that heart and getting in there that's really changing the game for women.
I want to see a couple chicks beat up Jiggy's ass.
You know, that could very well happen. So
all that damn deadlifting and training you've been doing.
So Shannon, how did we get to the point with women's MMA Because it used to be, me and Big Will, you used to watch, Foxy Boxing and all this other crap, and now you've got, Halle Berry making a movie about women's MMA. It's quite the transition.
That got me
making a legit one. She just wasn't playing around. She made a legit movie about it. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I can remember, when different promotions I worked for, and they'd come to me and they want to do a female bout, but it was never about Shannon, go find us, the biggest, baddest, like the same kind of thing they would say to me about matching male fighters. It was always about find us the hot girls. It was always what they were interested in, which of course I wasn't, because you're taking a spot from one of my guys to, for something that I don't think is really sellable. I mean, it is, but it isn't, not for the sport itself, in terms of talent, skill set. But it really has changed. And I think that's the part I'm most excited about, is that people do view them as athletes instead of, eye candy or, whatever you want to call it. They really take them serious. And I think the women have, done a really good job of showcasing that they're more than just something to look at. And that's exciting.
Yeah, that's really dope. Yeah, it's definitely changed from from the beginning, stages and stuff or whatever. They gotta put a lot more respect on their names nowadays, because these girls are super tough. It's like a lot of them are moms and and shit. They still be here. I'd be like, what the hell? Like, this ain't your grandpa. This ain't your grandpa's boxing shit no more. It's serious out here.
And there's a lot of talent in female boxing. I really, kind of disappointed and sad for them, that somebody's just not, getting in there and really trying to help. So hopefully, we'll be able to change that as well.
Well, I think that is dope.
Yeah. Invicta Boxing. Its way.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
That is one of the things about female boxing that I've hated over the years, is like, you had Muhammad Ali's daughter who was fighting nobodies, and then you have several women that have had to go into MMA or have had to go into kickboxing to really get some competition or make some money. What do you think is the big problem with women's boxing besides getting the eyeballs on it?
The truth?
Yeah.
The truth? I think, there's a lot of there's a lot of misogynistic asses on that side that just don't care, They just want to put, if you'll sell us a few tickets, we'll slap you on there, but we don't give a crap. You're going over here in the bottom. We're going to give you these, lesser rounds and things like that. I just think people don't care, and I think that it's coming up with a way to package it and make it more palatable and exciting for, the diehards of boxing, and really trying to help change that mindset. Because, well, I know that mindset, right? Of that side of the sport.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the WNBA. Like, they'll be getting no damn respect. Like,
None.
Like, they'll get no damn respect. Women's boxing is entertaining and shit, man. Like, I just watched that the triad fight thing.
Oh, yeah.
Triad boxing that with the triangle with Sean. We locked them a couple weeks ago, and they had one, feature fight with females on there, and it was a boxer versus MMA. But the boxer chick, she looked so. It was a great fight, man, and like, I'd love to see more of it, but there's just no real platform for it. But yeah, if you could, like, it's always, because how dudes are, like you said, misogynistic and want to put women to the side. So it'd be great for you to be able to create something that would be exciting and captivating, and then still be able to have the women, fucking get there and put on great boxing matches too. So if you do, best of luck, and sign me up. I'll definitely love to come do some play-by-play, some blow-by-blow, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm with it.
Yeah, there's got to be a secret recipe, something that we can come up with that, will change the game for women. Because, I know it's going to be tough. MMA wasn't easy as well in that, in that respect. But yeah, I mean, they definitely need someone to breathe some life in there and really kind of give them that lifeline to help just elevate, better pay, better everything. So
they need like they need to be like it needs to be like kind of like entertainment. Like they need to be talking cat fighting, talking shit, and then get in there and just absolutely go to war with each other, and then that will get people because people are all stimulated by nowadays the internet and watching people go back and forth and talk shit and yeah, you suck, your kids suck, I'm gonna stick your mom. Like what? And then they get there and then you just want a war. So it's hopefully if you come up with something, it'll be explosive and dynamic, and you got to get some ladies that have really good skills but great personalities. If we could get Jiggy in a wig, he'd be your heavyweight champion.
He'd be my one.
he'd be the one to get you over.
Speaking of heavyweights, Gabby Garcia is in this movie. And Gabby Garcia, I have always been fascinated by her.
I've always been shit of her.
Well, she's a scary individual. I see her fighting these little tiny bite-sized girls over in Japan. Yeah, just,
like, bro.
And I'm like, how do you find somebody that's gonna be her weight, her height, her skill level? If you're matching her up, how do you do something like that? Or is that just not possible?
I mean, I got nothing for you on that. Because I have talked about, they've approached me a couple times about possibly, could, we ever match her up here or something like that. It would be tough. I don't know anyone like Gabby. I don't know anyone that, that size and that kind of thing. And, yeah, I think it's tough. I think that's a tough one, to try to match. I guess you just get as close as you can, to skill set and as best as you can, to weight. Anyway.
I think the only person
any ideas?
that she's not around anymore would be like Nicole Bass, but Nicole, rest in peace, Nicole Bass. But
yeah,
at this point, shit, the only person he gets to fight Gabby is probably like Bob Sapp or something. Like, who else is in this weight class?
Bob Sapp.
She's you.
You might be afraid.
Oh yeah, like Bob be like, hey, I don't want that smoke.
Yeah, you don't want no part of that. No part of that. But yeah, no, she's hard, I think, to match just because, she's very talented as well. She's got really good solid ground and stuff. But yeah, it's that whole weight, the size difference. But Japan loves that stuff. Japan loves those mismatched. They love that stuff.
They love the Godzilla.
They do. I mean, they do.
So with this film, did you personally pick out some of the folks that were as for the MMA side of things? How did some of the folks get involved with the film?
No, I didn't do any of the casting or any of that, or like your fight camp. My part in it was more about let's make this as real and legit as we possibly can. And that's kind of where I came in. And, of course, on the commentator side, I asked them to bring in, actually one of the commentators so that, we had some kind of representation there. But really, the rest, that was really my expertise went into, let's make this look legit. Because, when you're going to do a film, there's a lot of things you got to think about if you really want it to be legit, like the commissions, where do they go, the round timing, just different things in the aesthetics wise that makes it look real. So that's pretty much where I came in. I was kind of late to the dance. Like I said, the film was already starting to be filmed. It was cast, everything was going. And it was just this thing that was like an opportunity that just kind of aligned. They needed me and I needed, and I was like, okay, cool. This really works, because it's going to give the promotion exposure, which translates down to me that my athletes are going to really dig that and think that's super cool, and young athletes. So that was kind of the trade-off for me anyway in that way. Plus she was passionate. I mean, how the hell do you say no to somebody like Halle Berry. I mean, Halle Berry is really into your sport. I mean, and she wants to do right by it. Yeah, you can't say no to that.
Yeah, that was one of the cool things that I thought that was really cool about watching the movie is like when, you know, the story got going and then it was like Invicta FC. I was like, Invicta FC? Like what? And so it was cool.
Yeah, right?
Like, you know, because, I'm glad that it wasn't just like, women's MMA, it wasn't like some janky ass, like made up, like promotion. It was actually something like, it wasn't just some corny ass shit, it was a legitimate promotion. And so it gave the story like even more, like it made it even more like real to me because it's like, oh shit. Like, and then I was like, did she really fight for it? And I'm just like, no, it's a damn movie, man. Like, ain't no damn fought no damn Invicta, but it gave it more, more life to the story, it being a real promotion and stuff like that. And like you said, that does, catapult y'all brand and like, gives y'all girls more clout and shit, So it was really well put together. I was really impressed, and I could definitely see why it's a #1 movie or was a #1 movie on Netflix when it came out. So kudos.
Yeah, she did a really good job. Yeah, and what about Valentina? She's the Invicta champ. I mean, everywhere on the internet and stuff, there she is with the Invicta belt. How much better is it to get than that, right? Yeah. She's incredibly talented, and I guess you'll have to call me Immaculate because that was my role in the movie. The guy's name is Immaculate that runs Invicta. So, but yeah, no, I thought it was a good movie. I thought
that was kind of funny. I was like, I know I was like, no damn dude running Invicta, but I thought it was funny that they changed him to a guy. But
well, actually, he was already cast and everything. Like I said, I really came in at the last minute. It was just one of those times when doesn't happen very often in life, right? But just everything comes together like it's just meant to be. They needed me. They needed, they were out of money. They needed the cage. They needed all the assets I had. And it just kind of, we aligned. And when we aligned, it just came together. So I always say you do good work, good stuff happens, We needed kind of something good to happen, but I was like, I never thought Halle Berry was the one that was going to show up. You could ask for a lifeline and they sent Halle Berry. So can't beat that, right?
For real. Like, I'd be happy.
Yeah, right? And she really is a good person, and that's the other part. I just want to add is that she has a big heart. She's very, very kind, very kind. I mean, she's been incredibly kind to me. I hear like somebody will send me a clip of something, and she's on like what's that guy's name, a Trevor Noah show, and she's like, hey, Shannon Knapp, right, that has Invicta. She's just very kind. She's always lifting other people up. And I think that's something that's hard to find these days, right?
Fresh as hell. You got Halle Berry name dropping you.
I know, right? You can't beat it. I mean, doesn't get much cooler than that, So, yeah, it's, she's just, really went above and beyond and really included me in a lot of stuff. So, I'm forever grateful. She says she's forever grateful, but, it goes both ways.
Tit for tat.
Amen. Yeah.
So when did you guys when did Invicta get sort of, what was it? They were purchased or acquired by Anthem?
In 2000, the first of the year, April.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were acquired. We were acquired by Anthem. So what the big deal was, for me was I've been doing this on my own. In the business sense, of course, I hired people to help me per event, so it's not, but to build it and to do the vision, create the vision that I have, it's bigger than me. And, so that's really, I was looking for an alignment, and they're a media company, they're a good company, a stable company. So I was looking for partners to really help me take it to the next level. The real dream is to launch all the genres of combat for women in sports. So we'd have that kickboxing, we'd have that boxing, we'd have, the MMA, just all across there, and give the women in the sport opportunities to build brands, their brands.
Yeah.
And just really be able to cross train and keep them busy, keep it elevated, and really do something good for them. I needed a partner. That was the bottom line. Is I just needed the support behind me, and Anthem stepped up to the table, and I felt like that was going to be the right alignment for us.
That's awesome.
That is pretty awesome. Yeah, because you've got some backing now, which is nice. Instead of
it sure takes pressure off that it's always me. Because I know you guys probably know this, but in business, if you don't give a shit, it's easy. You just don't give a shit, right?
That's right.
But if you give a shit, it weighs heavy on you. And you have to make right decisions because everybody's relying on you. Not just people that work for you, but the people that are competing. And there for a while, the whole sport, I was the one in there really building these divisions out. So if I make a mistake, it doesn't just affect me, it affects everybody. And like I said, since I care, that really added that, stress. So it's good to have somebody else have to worry about some of those things. I don't have to worry about as much as I used to. So
that's awesome.
At least in that part.
That's awesome.
Just like when you got Will on, you don't have to ask all the questions.
Hey, I'll tell you, Will is an encyclopedia when it comes to combat sports. So
I just like to watch people get hit.
That's great.
It's even better when they pay me for it.
There you go. Right? Yeah, there you go. Makes a big difference, doesn't it? And I make people hit each other, so
it's great. Like we're all in the business of hitting people legally.
Literally.
So Shannon,
I'm glad that you guys liked it. I'm glad that you liked the movie.
Loved it.
It's important. Yeah. It's that support. So.
Yeah, it was a great film production, the whole 9 yards. It what and I like what Will was saying earlier with the fact that they had an actual MMA company. It wasn't just Halle Berry was getting ready to fight for the Women's Fighting League or whatever. And Brand X or whatever the fuck. All of a sudden it's Invicta, and it's like, I've heard of Invicta. It's an actual organization. So.
Yeah, I like that part in the movie where Immaculate pulls up. He's like, yeah, Invicta, y'all #1 female organization in the world. I'm like, yeah, yeah, buddy. So, yeah, we like that part, right?
And you you guys definitely are the #1 female organization in the world. Because I can't think of a number 2, so.
So when do you start taking over women's boxing, Shannon? What is this?
That's on the agenda. I'm like, I've been playing around with that for a little bit. I like a good fight, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. And the fact that I think that I can get in there and duke it out with some of these guys, to make that difference, and really, it's very appealing to me in that way. I'd like to change the game. I have a lot of female boxers that reach out and say, look at us over here, and it's been happening for a long time. So, I feel good about, like I said, the support I have now and the resources and the ability to kind of do other things. So maybe sooner than you think.
That's awesome.
The IBF, the Invicta Boxing Federation. It's tough.
Yeah, there you go. It is. It really is eventually. So already got the domains, all that. I've had them for a while, I've been, it's that formula, still working on that formula that I think is going to make a difference.
Well, I've noticed
it's going to take something different.
I've noticed that Anthem is starting to get more into boxing because they've got I believe they have a boxing show they're going to run this weekend on the channel. So I think that when you definitely start the start the engine on the female boxing part of it, I think you'll definitely have somewhere to air it.
Yeah, nice, right? That's half the battle right there. But yeah, no, they are doing that show. Forget what it's called. It's Richard Schaefer's show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should know what it's called, but I can't think of it. Yeah, so they're dabbling around a little bit in different sports and the genres. So yeah, hopefully they're successful. I don't know much about their promotion, but you hope they do well. Anyway.
So Big Will, as we wrap up here, do you have any more questions for the fantastic Shannon Knapp here?
So what? What's some of the big things that are coming up for Invicta? Like, what do you guys got coming up? What's on the horizon?
We got a show coming up. So back here in Kansas City. So if you guys want to come, let me know. I'll hook you up. It's coming up. We are changing the day of the week that we're doing shows. We're moving to Wednesdays. We feel like, I feel like it gives more opportunity for less competition, and more eyes on, the sport for, the company, I guess, so to speak. So, So that's something that's coming up is, we're going to move to Wednesdays. So it'll be Women of Wednesdays. And yeah, that's it. Just kicking out the new year with lots of shows, lots of new exciting projects. And yeah, Halle's got a documentary that's coming out, so on ESPN. So we've got some appearances in that as well. So we got some good stuff still waiting to come. So
that's awesome.
When exactly is the next show?
It's in January, second week. We're going to announce it next week. So yeah, so it's coming sooner than you think.
Awesome, great.
That's awesome. Well, we may be hitting you up for press passes.
There you go.
So
come check it out. Yeah,
that may end up happening.
You need to come watch it live. That's where the real energy and that magic happens. So
definitely.
Well,
yeah, but we'd love to have you.
You have just built such a cool brand here, and do you often have folks from other organizations, whether it's MMA or boxing or whatever? Do you ever get some of these people hitting you up and saying, "Hey, could you give me a little help here?" Because you've managed to build such a cool deal here. I'm sure you have a good share of people who just talk so much shit on you, and then you probably got.
Yeah, I mean, even though I think Invicta has a really good reputation. We do good business, but that doesn't stop the haters.
Yeah.
They still like to talk crap. But I will always stand up for my athletes and do the right thing, even if it costs me money.
Yeah.
Which, trust me, it usually does. But yeah, you can't ask people. But, I've always been of this mindset. You can't ask these kids to go in there and fight their heart out, but you're not willing to stand up and fight for their dreams. As with any relation, it should be good for both. So, I'm kind of not your normal promoter. I don't even actually like that word, but I'm just an advocate for the athlete and for the sport. And yeah, so there are a lot of people that talk crap. I mean, a lot of people. My favorite was always this. Well, I had that idea 2 years ago. Okay. I mean, what am I supposed to do with that? Okay. Yeah. What you do with it? That kind of thing. But, yeah, it's just because it's not easy on this side. Everybody has this misconception that there's so many women out there ready to compete. It's not like that,
Yeah.
Not at all. Little girls don't grow up want to be punched in the face every day. It's not happening.
Yeah.
So it does. It has its own issues, but usually it's dudes. It's always the guys. With other promotions that maybe I didn't. I don't know. Maybe I got the girl sign that they wanted, or something like that. So it's always just a little bit. They don't say it to my face, though. Of course, they just talk crap behind the doors, and then I hear about it. So because somebody's always running to tell you, not so much always the good stuff, but they always tell you the bad, right? So, but it's all good. We do good work, and that's what it's about.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Shannon, thanks for doing this. Thanks for chatting with me and Big Will today. This has definitely been fun. And I think that's pretty badass that Halle Berry name drops you on various places. I think that's
Yeah, so
that's
my
pretty
daughter.
badass.
I mean, I don't even know what's happening. She's always the one that, hey, I think you should look. Hallie's just talking about you. And I'm like, oh, okay. But it is nice. I mean, she's just, I can't really say it enough that, I mean, she's just genuine,
Yes.
That's the thing about her is that, because I always figure, I've worked with a lot of celebrities in my life, and they'll say things, but I never like put stock into what they're saying. It's just like,
Yes.
hey, okay, thank you, that kind of thing. She delivers, and she continues to deliver, even when I'm not there. I'm like, I'm not in front of her, and she's still, paying it forward and giving back. And I think that that's really a testament to someone's character. So.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, for real, she is really, seems to be a really good person. So.
Girls rock.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And I just will say thank you both so much. I've really enjoyed the interview. I enjoyed the one the other day.
Yes.
It's fun to talk real shop. And so I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, well, you're a badass, Shannon. That's just the way it is.
But thank you. But no. But I do appreciate it. I appreciate it. Definitely love to have you out to an event. If you want to come, we'll announce and I'd be happy to accommodate you.
Definitely.
I'm there.
Definitely.
Definitely
Well, we will definitely be in touch on that. Well, once that's announced, you'll be getting an email from me.
All right, that works for me.
Well,
you can set with this cage side, so we got you covered. Okay.
And it's been a pleasure to talk with you, Shannon. Hey, guys, make sure y'all go check out Bruised on Netflix. Make sure to keep it trending in the #1s. Also, go follow Invicta Fighting Championship on all their platforms. Make sure to continue to support women's MMA, support Shannon and all she's doing. Best of luck in everything in the boxing and all the other things. And definitely look forward to meeting you in person.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, you guys, and happy holidays. If I don't see you again till then, happy holidays, and enjoy it. All right.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Big Will. Thank you, Shannon, and we will talk to you guys soon. It's been an honor and a privilege. Thank you, Shannon.
Same. Thank you.
Appreciate it, my friend. There she goes. That is Shannon Knapp, and we are going to take a brief time out. And when we come back, we've got more coming up. It is the world famous